So pointless to record this stuff. Back to bed for some good reading. But the reason I read first thing in the morning is to stimulate my thinking to an extent that otherwise would not happen, just to get some creativity into my thought processes, because that would otherwise just not be the case. We just think in our random usual patterns every day we get up, and I try to use this first phase of the day that is still characterized by mental flexibility, I would say, to just get some interesting new thoughts into my thinking. And usually every time after I'm done reading, I feel enlightened. Here is the book club of the day. Right now we're reading The Hard Way by Brad Lee, which is about his lessons in life that he learned the hard way. He tells us those so that we do not have to make the same mistakes the hard way. I'm just gonna read a few lines out to you. I spent my early childhood trying to make people think I was good enough and cool enough, only to look back and see what a mistake it was. There are full-grown people doing it today. I hope you are not one of them, and if you are, stop now. I had to deal with this mistake until my parents decided to move to another town just to get a chance to get a clean slate and start over. Learn now to figure out who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. To be authentic, you must know who you are and what you believe. Too many people don't and end up following what others believe and tell them to think. Often I also read out loud to just get better at verbal fluency. I really want to perfect the English language as much as I can and learn all the different vocabulary and just get it into my mind. And reading out loud I think helps a lot with that. When I'm done reading out loud, I usually put earplugs in, which is an interesting technique I found out. Maybe it helps you as well. If I read with earplugs in, I actually hear my thoughts better because all the little sounds from the outside world are kind of shielded off and the inside becomes just way louder. You know, that's always the case. If you turn off the exteroception, the interoception becomes more pronounced. I kind of feel like American Psycho, elaborating everything that I do and why I do it, that everything that I do is kind of deliberate. I try to live an extremely deliberate life because there's so many things we just do every day that are just not our choice. It can also not be our choice because we have certain habits that make the personality that we are. We have these thoughts going on. There are also reflexes, there are also habits that just circle in your head based on what you learned to think when you were a child. And in that regard, it's really good to actually take some time out of your day to actively and deliberately monitor your thoughts, actively shape your thoughts, actively update your thoughts. It's like the softwares of a computer, right? I probably don't have to tell you and you already know that, but it's a really good thing to do. That's why I journal. And it's also partially why I do this vlog right now, to just reflect on myself, listen again to my thought processes and also the different acts that go in hand with it. I try to just think about what might be the best thing to do and then build a habit out of that. Because even if I look at myself talking, I'm just realizing that every little thing that I do and say is basically a pattern. And it's kind of freaky to me because it seems almost that you're not really a personality at the end of the day. You're just an accumulation of different habits that you built and developed over the course of your life. And that's kind of scary to me, as mentioned. So I just try to make these habits effective and deliberate. So yeah, my life is a little bit American Psycho-esque. I'm really overthinking a lot or thinking about a lot of things that I do. I would assume and hope that I'm a reflective person in that regard because where I'm from, man, I didn't really learn a lot of good things. So yeah, I had to do a lot of work. I still have to do a lot of work. That's why I try to do it. And I'm not talking about monetary work, but personal self-development work. I'm happy where I am right now in my life. It took me a few years, but there's still a lot to improve on. A whole lot to improve on, and this is what I'm trying to achieve with just reading, you know. I'm mainly reading self-improvement books. Everything I read is non-fiction. Psychology, biology, behavioral psychology. Some of these things are really what are interesting to me. It can also go a little too far at times. I'm really fighting with 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. These books are like prime sociopath material. There is a lot of value in them, but it's also just very hard to read. It's very intense to just read about how to seduce people, how to get through in the world, how to make the next move the right one so that you can ascend in the ranks. I guess The Hard Way is a more simple read. It's a little bit of bro science. You know, he's just talking about some evidence stuff, it seems. Look, unless you know, like, and trust yourself, it's very difficult to get anyone else to. In this world, you will need to have the skill set to get people to know, like, and trust you. Point blank. And damn, look at that weather. Today we will definitely chill in the sun a little bit. It's just way too beautiful, man. Today's plan, we have to go to James' place, shoot a few more photos for a client, and I'm probably gonna come back, take a nap, or at least try to it again. Up until then, I will edit some more videos. I will get a little bit more into the productive flow. Man, my life is so boring. I don't know why anyone would watch my vlogs. That's probably why no one will actually watch my vlogs. Another incredibly interesting speech of mine. Now, I just did a little bit of work here in front of my PC. And now we do another bout of work. Hey Siri, get that timer up for another 1 hour, please.
1 hour, starting now.
It's super warm. The sun is amazing. I'll just listen to a podcast real quick, get some sun onto my skin, and then continue the work. Time to go to a homie's place, shoot some photos. I just took a nap. I slept for like 1.5 hours, and now I am late to MMA training. But I was pretty cracked up. Now I don't feel like going. I mean, now it's anyways too late to go. But I am texting with this girl about chilling out. That could maybe turn my bad conscience away a little bit from not training today. It's the first time in like 5 months. That's probably the last time. So I'll head out, meet a friend of mine, and just enjoy the evening. Yup.